Oh, snap. There's another package manager out there, but I think this one might be better. This morning I saw a tweet that jumped out at me. Sebastien Douche, S-Douche on Twitter, showed a screenshot working with micro Kubernetes using Snap and Juju. Now, I don't know what micro Kubernetes is, I don't know what Snap is, and I don't know what Juju is. So it's time to do a little research, because that's what you do on a Sunday morning is research Kubernetes. Well, there are many different ways of running Kubernetes locally. On my Mac, I've used Minikube, I've used Minishift, I've used Rancher. And I really like using Rancher because I'm able to create a multi-node Kubernetes cluster all on my Mac, but it definitely takes a little bit longer to set up and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And so and Minikube is really easy, but I'm always looking for new stuff. Now Snap's a package manager, but it's not like your typical package manager. No, this is a sexy package manager. I'll tell you more about that after a little quick demo that I've got set up for you. So to get up to speed, I followed a great post by Marco Ceppi, and he talked about setting up micro Kubernetes for the first time. So let me show you how easy this is to set up. Now, I'm on a Mac, and Snap is a Linux thing. So I've got to have a Linux box working. And the easiest way to do this is with Vagrant. So I'll just paste in a command that says Vagrant init Ubuntu Xenial 64. Okay, so that's all set. And now I can go and edit that file. So I've got Visual Studio Code in here. And here's the Vagrant file. I know that it's going to need port 8080 exposed. So probably the easiest thing is to copy this line and change guest port 8080. And I'm going to make it exposed on port 8088. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll save this and open up a command prompt and now just run Vagrant up. And depending on whether you've installed Vagrant before and run Xenial 64, this may take a little bit of time, but I think this should be pretty quick on my machine. Okay, so now it's up and running and I can do a Vagrant SSH to log into that box. Now I want to install micro Kubernetes using Snap. So I'll just paste this command in. There are a few things that are interesting here. First, Snap, I run install, and then micro Kubernetes is something on the Snap store. The classic flag defines the level of confinement. Now this is a Snap thing saying that it should have a little bit more access to the host. They say it's temporary until they figure things out. And that's the reason for the other flag, which is, well, that's one of the reasons, the beta channel. So this is a brand new project. And at the time of the recording, there's really no other choice. And they want to keep it beta until they figure out some of the stuff about, needing a higher level of access to the machine. So I'll press enter. And so it's downloading Snapcore from stable channel and doing a bunch of other things around Snap. Shouldn't take too long. Every time I've tried this before, it's within seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Okay, so now that's all set up. So now I've got a command in my Vagrant box that is micro Kubernetes kube control. So if I just run that, I see all the usual things I see with kube control. But I prefer to make things a little bit easier. So I'm going to alias the command with that. And so now K is going to be a command that was alias to kube control. I'm going to just do one other alias, which is to enable to KE. And now I can do KE, DNS, and dashboard. So now I can get the list of pods and services in the namespace kube system. And I see that it's spun up a few different pods. And if I want to connect that from my Mac, I actually want to take a look at cluster info. So K cluster info. And now I can see that Kubernetes dashboard is running on this localhost 8080 So I can go into a browser and refresh this. And I see there is my Kubernetes dashboard. This is the one that is running locally on micro Kubernetes. And that was really pretty quick and easy. Maybe using Minikube is a little bit quicker, but this is pretty slick. So Micro Kubernetes is this project that is enabled by Snap. It's like a package manager, but if it's a package manager, why not just use RPMs or debs or APKs on Alpine? Well, they're super specific. And if you need to distribute on, say, all of those platforms, then you've got to learn 3 very different package manager formats. And, I haven't really spent much time with them, but what little time I have spent, I can see that they're all kind of hard. And they definitely take a lot of investment of just brain power to figure this stuff out. And so you'll definitely see people that will say, well, okay, why not just use Linux Brew, which is a fork of Homebrew? So I'm not really sure I see the benefit of Linux Brew. I'm basically fixing a lot of different package managers with another really complex package manager. I much prefer the arguments made by Jilin Sun. I think that's the way to pronounce his name. But there's a lot more to it than just what he talks about in his article. Because Snap is more than just a package manager. It's an environment influenced by containers. It's taking all the best of all these different worlds and mashing them together. So a Snap is essentially a containerized application minus all the operating system bits. It knows how to restrict the application from more sensitive parts of the host. And the configuration of a Snap is easy to read and easy to understand, while all the package managers are really, really complex. So here's the configuration for Micro Kubernetes. Kubernetes is generally hard, but this is readable. I can see what's going on. It makes sense, even though I've never seen the format before. So is it perfect? I don't know. I've been playing around this thing for a couple of hours, and one of the introduction videos I saw was by Alan Pope. Now, I seem to remember he talked about how it uses LXC. And that reminds me of an article that I just saw a couple of days ago that I mentioned on this vlog, written by Jessie Frizzell. And she was talking about security and Docker and pointed to a chart of security defaults in LXC versus Docker. Now, if one of the benefits of Snap is restricting the application, are there holes in that strategy? I don't know. I don't know enough about Docker and LXC and security to know how to even answer that question. I would love for an expert in container security who might know a little bit about Snap to kind of chime in, maybe below in the comments or on Twitter, just to help me understand this stuff a little bit better. Now, if you find this interesting, hit that like button below. And if you want to see more of these, hit the subscribe button as well. I love doing these, and I hope to see you in the next one very, very soon. Well, tomorrow. I'm doing this every day. Tomorrow. I hope to see you tomorrow. Okay, thanks a lot.